Chosen one, stop. Do not scroll. Do not rush past this moment. Listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is not small. Your name was spoken in a room you were never invited into. Your name was mentioned in a conversation you never heard. And if you leave now, you may miss the very protection I placed around your life. This is not random. This is not coincidence. I am speaking directly to you. Yes, you. The one who has been feeling something shift lately. The one who sensed a strange heaviness but could not explain why. The one who wondered why certain people suddenly grew quiet. Why certain conversations became shorter. Why certain energies began to feel different. You felt it. You sensed it. You carried the weight of something invisible, and you asked yourself, why does something feel different? Now I am revealing the answer. Your name was spoken in a room you were not in, and when your name entered that room, the atmosphere changed. Some voices grew tense. Some voices grew curious. Some voices grew defensive. Because when your name appears in spaces where you are absent, hearts begin to reveal themselves. Motives begin to surface. Truth begins to rise from beneath the surface where it was hiding. I allowed that moment. I allowed your absence, not rejection, but protection. Not exclusion, but separation. Not loss, but positioning. Because there are conversations that can only reveal truth when you are not standing there. When you are present, some people hide their intentions. When you are present, some people perform loyalty they do not actually carry. But when you are absent, the masks loosen. The atmosphere speaks honestly. The room reveals what it truly contains. And that is exactly what happened when your name was mentioned. I saw it. I heard it. I watched the reactions you were never meant to witness with your own eyes. This is why you felt that subtle shift recently. The slight distance, the quiet tension, the small but noticeable change in how someone spoke to you. You wondered if you were imagining it. You asked yourself if you were overthinking. But hear me clearly. You were not overthinking. You were discerning. I placed discernment inside you, and when something shifts in the unseen realm around your life, your spirit senses it before your mind understands it. That strange heaviness you felt was not confusion, it was awareness awakening. Because chosen one, you carry something powerful. You carry light, and light changes the atmosphere of every room it enters. Light exposes what darkness prefers to hide. Light reveals what silence tried to cover. That is why your presence unsettles certain environments. That is why some people feel comfortable with you until you begin to grow, until you begin to see clearly, until you begin to walk closer to your purpose. And when that happens, conversations begin to happen without you. Rooms begin to form where your name becomes the topic. Decisions begin to unfold where your influence is quietly discussed. But listen closely to this truth. What they say about you in those rooms does not determine your destiny. Their discussion cannot cancel what I have already written over your life. Their opinions cannot silence the purpose I placed inside you. Their conclusions cannot stop the doors I am preparing to open for you. You see, chosen one, I see what they cannot see. I see the future that is waiting for you beyond the limits of their understanding. I see the calling that is unfolding over your life. I see the doors that will open when the time arrives. And because I see what they cannot see, I sometimes allow moments like this to happen. Moments where your name enters a room without your presence. Moments where people reveal what lives inside their hearts. Moments where loyalty is tested. Moments where hidden opposition quietly exposes itself. This is not punishment. This is protection. Not rejection, but redirection. Not loss, but rescue. Because if I allowed you to remain comfortable in every circle that currently surrounds you, you would carry people into your next season who were never meant to walk that path with you. Some individuals were assigned to your past, not your future. Some connections were meant to teach you, not accompany you. Some voices were meant to challenge you, not guide you. And the only way for those truths to become clear is through moments of revelation like this. The room you never entered, a conversation you never heard, a decision they believed you would never know about. But I know, and I am revealing it to you now because you are chosen. If you feel something stirring inside your spirit right now, comment Amen. Not as a habit, not as a routine, but as a declaration that you trust what I am unfolding around your life. Because even when you are not in the room, I am there. Even when your name is spoken, I am listening. Even when decisions are being made, I am guiding the outcome. Now listen closely, chosen one, because this is where the truth becomes clearer. The moment your name entered that room, the energy shifted. Some people leaned forward. Some people became quiet. Some people looked at each other before speaking. That pause mattered. That hesitation revealed something deeper than their words. Because whenever the name of someone carrying purpose enters a conversation, the atmosphere reacts. Not everyone understands why they feel uncomfortable. Not everyone understands why they suddenly feel defensive. But something inside them recognizes that you are not the same person you used to be. You have grown. You have changed. You have begun to see through things that once confused you. Your silence has become stronger. Your awareness has become sharper. Your peace has become more important than approval. And that transformation unsettles those who were comfortable with the older version of you, the quieter version, the version that tolerated things you now refuse to accept. So when your name appeared in that room, the conversation began to circle around you. Someone asked a question. Someone offered an opinion. Someone expressed uncertainty about your direction. And slowly, piece by piece, the truth began to surface. Some spoke from curiosity. Some spoke from insecurity. Some spoke from motives they did not even fully understand. But their words revealed something powerful. Their conversation was not about who you are today. It was about who they fear you are becoming. And that fear says more about their limitations than it does about your destiny. Because when someone begins stepping into purpose, the people who are comfortable with small expectations suddenly feel uneasy. Your growth disrupts familiar patterns. Your clarity challenges comfortable illusions. Your peace exposes restless hearts. And without realizing it, those reactions begin shaping conversations about you. That is what happened in that room. Your name became a mirror reflecting the hearts of everyone present. Some voices carried respect. Some carried confusion. Some carried quiet resistance. But the most important truth is this: their conversation did not define you. Their conversation revealed them. And that revelation is exactly why I allowed the moment to happen without you standing there. Because if you had been in that room, the truth would have stayed hidden. Masks would have remained in place. Words would have been carefully chosen to maintain appearances. But absence reveals what presence hides. Silence exposes what noise conceals. Distance uncovers what proximity disguises. And now, the truth is beginning to surface. You may not have heard the conversation. You may not know every word that was spoken. But the shift you feel around certain people is the echo of that moment. The atmosphere has changed. The energy has moved. And slowly, you will begin to see clearly who spoke from loyalty and who spoke from hidden tension. Do not fear this revelation. Do not resist this process. Because what is being revealed now is not meant to harm you. It is meant to free you. I am refining your circle. I am separating alignment from attachment. I am removing the illusion of loyalty where true support never existed. And yes, chosen one, it may feel uncomfortable for a moment. But discomfort is not destruction. It is preparation. If you understand this, comment Amen again. Because the conversation that happened without you was not meant to stop you. It was meant to reveal the path forward. And very soon, you will understand exactly why your name needed to be spoken in that room while you were somewhere else entirely. Chosen one, listen closely. The moment your name entered that room, the atmosphere shifted. You were not there, yet your presence was felt. Your name carried weight. Your name carried tension. Your name carried revelation. Some people looked down. Some people leaned forward. Some people became very quiet. That silence mattered. That silence revealed more than the words that followed. Because when truth enters a room, the room responds. And your name carried truth they were not ready to confront. You must understand this, son. Conversations about you were never truly about you. They were about the discomfort your growth created in them. When someone begins walking in clarity, those who live in confusion feel exposed. When someone begins walking in peace, those who carry unrest feel unsettled. When someone begins walking in purpose, those who have avoided their own calling begin to feel resistance rise inside them. That is what happened in that room. The moment your name appeared in that conversation, something deeper surfaced. Motives began to reveal themselves. Intentions began to show themselves. Hearts began to expose what had been hidden behind polite conversations and quiet smiles. This is not random. I allowed that moment. I allowed your absence. Not rejection, but protection. Not isolation, but revelation. Not loss, but alignment. Because there are truths you could never see if you were sitting at that table. If you had been present, their voices would have softened. Their opinions would have been disguised. Their discomfort would have been hidden behind careful words. But absence removes the mask. Absence reveals the heart. Absence allows honesty to breathe. And honesty is exactly what surfaced in that room. Some voices defended you, quietly, carefully. Their tone carried respect. Their tone carried recognition. Because even among those who sat in that room, there were a few who could see the light you carry. They could feel the change in your life. They could sense that something different is unfolding around you. But others spoke from a different place. Not hatred, not open hostility. Something more subtle, something quieter, something more dangerous. Insecurity, confusion, fear of change. Because, chosen one, your growth disturbs environments that depend on familiarity. When you begin to rise, people who are comfortable with your old version begin to feel uncertain about the new one. They remember who you were when you tolerated more. They remember who you were when you stayed quiet. They remember who you were when you doubted yourself. But you are not that person anymore. You have changed. You have grown. You have begun to see clearly. And clarity disrupts systems that were built on silence. This is why that room felt tension the moment your name appeared. Some people wondered if you were becoming too independent. Some wondered if you were stepping outside the role they had quietly assigned to you. Some wondered if your direction was moving beyond their influence. But listen carefully to this truth. Their questions reveal their limits, not yours. Their uncertainty reveals their fear, not your destiny. Because what they were discussing in that room was not who you are today. They were discussing the version of you they still believed they could control. But that version is gone. I have been reshaping you. I have been refining you. I have been strengthening you in ways they cannot see yet. The quiet seasons you walked through were not empty seasons. They were preparation. The moments where you felt alone were not abandonment. They were alignment. The times when certain people grew distant were not rejection. They were redirection. I was repositioning you. I was preparing you. I was strengthening the foundation beneath your life so that when the next door opens, you will stand firm. Because there are doors coming that require strength. There are opportunities coming that require discernment. There are environments coming that require clarity. And if you carried every voice from your past into that future, the weight would slow your movement. That is why I allowed your name to be spoken in that room. Because the conversation revealed who truly understands you and who only understood the older version of you. Some people spoke your name with respect. Some spoke it with hesitation. Some spoke it with quiet resistance. But every voice in that room revealed something important. Their words exposed the limits of their vision. Their reactions exposed the boundaries of their comfort. Their conversation revealed who can walk with you into the next season and who cannot. Do you see it now, chosen one? What looked like a hidden conversation was actually a moment of exposure. What looked like exclusion was actually a moment of protection. What looked like silence was actually revelation unfolding behind the scenes. I am showing you something important about your path. Not everyone who started this journey with you will finish it beside you. Not every voice that once guided you will speak into your next season.
Not every environment that once felt familiar will remain comfortable as you grow. And that is not failure. That is refinement. I am refining your circle. I am refining your atmosphere. I am refining the voices that surround your life. Because where you are going next requires clarity. Where you are going next requires peace. Where you are going next requires people who recognize the calling on your life instead of resisting it. And I know what you have been feeling lately. The quiet distance, the subtle changes, the strange awareness that some conversations no longer feel the same. You wondered why certain people speak to you differently now. You wondered why some invitations stopped coming. You wondered why certain environments suddenly feel heavy. You thought you were imagining it, but you were not imagining anything. You were discerning. Your spirit recognized the shift before your mind understood it. Because the moment your name was spoken in that room, the atmosphere around you began to move. Not punishment, but protection. Not rejection, but separation. Not confusion, but clarity. I am guiding you through this transition. I am revealing what was hidden. I am preparing you for what is coming next. If this truth resonates inside you right now, comment Amen. Let that word be your agreement with the process unfolding around your life. Because, chosen one, I am not finished revealing what happened in that room. What they discussed was only the beginning. What they decided says more about their fears than it does about your future. And very soon, you will see clearly why I allowed that moment to happen exactly the way it did. You are chosen. You are protected. And I am preparing you for a season they cannot yet imagine. Chosen one, stay with me. Do not rush past this moment. What I am about to reveal explains why you were not allowed into that room. Yes, allowed. Because your absence was not an accident. Your absence was arranged. Your absence was necessary. Your absence was protection. You wondered why you were not invited. You wondered why no one told you. You wondered why the conversation happened without your voice present. But listen carefully. If you had been in that room, the truth would have remained hidden. If you had been sitting at that table, the masks would have stayed in place. If you had been present, the words would have been softer, safer, more controlled. But I wanted truth.
I wanted exposure. I wanted the hidden things to rise to the surface where they could no longer hide. Not punishment, but protection. Not rejection, but revelation. Not exclusion, but alignment. There are moments in your life when I remove you from a space so that the space can reveal itself. When you are present, people behave carefully. When you are present, some people perform loyalty they do not actually feel. When you are present, some people hide their discomfort behind politeness. But when you are absent, honesty breathes, silence breaks, motives reveal themselves. That is why your seat was empty in that room. Because the moment your name appeared in that conversation, something inside each person present had to respond. And that response exposed the truth they could not hide from themselves. Some defended you quietly. Their voices carried respect. Their words carried recognition. They have watched your journey. They have seen the changes in you. They recognize the strength that has been forming in your life. They may not understand everything about your path, but they know something real is happening around you. But not every voice in that room carried that same clarity. Some voices carried hesitation. Some voices carried suspicion. Some voices carried quiet resistance. Not loud hostility. Something quieter. Something more subtle. The discomfort that appears when someone realizes they can no longer control the direction of another person's life. Because, chosen one, you have been changing. Slowly, quietly, deeply.
The person you were 1 year ago is not the person you are today. The way you think has shifted. The way you respond has shifted. The way you value your peace has shifted. And when someone begins changing like this, it unsettles the expectations people built around the old version of you. They remember who you were when you tolerated things you now walk away from. They remember who you were when you doubted yourself. They remember who you were when you stayed silent. But that silence has been breaking. That uncertainty has been dissolving. That hesitation has been fading. I have been strengthening you. I have been refining you. I have been preparing you. And that preparation changes how others experience your presence. Some people celebrate it. Some people respect it. Some people quietly resist it. That is what surfaced in that room. The conversation was never just about you. It was about the change happening around you. One voice questioned whether you were becoming distant. Another voice wondered if you were moving in a direction they could no longer influence. Another voice expressed concern about how much you had grown beyond what they expected. But understand this clearly. Their conversation revealed their expectations, not your limits. Their concerns revealed their comfort zone, not your calling. Because what they were really saying was this: the version of you they once understood is disappearing. And that truth made them uncomfortable. But listen closely to what I'm telling you now. That discomfort is confirmation. Confirmation that the transformation inside you is real. Confirmation that the path unfolding before you is moving forward. Confirmation that you are stepping into something larger than the expectations people once placed on your life. You are chosen. And because you are chosen, change follows you. Growth follows you. Revelation follows you. This is why some environments begin to feel unfamiliar as you grow. This is why some conversations begin to feel heavy. This is why some relationships begin to shift. Not punishment, but preparation. Not conflict, but clarity. Not loss, but elevation. I am refining your path. I am refining your atmosphere. I am refining your circle. Because where you are going next requires space. It requires clarity. It requires people who celebrate the calling on your life instead of quietly resisting it. That is why your absence from that room mattered. Your absence allowed every voice to reveal itself. Your absence allowed truth to breathe freely. Your absence allowed the conversation to expose the invisible lines forming between those who truly support you and those who feel threatened by your growth. And I wanted you to see that separation clearly. Not through confrontation, not through conflict, but through discernment. Because discernment protects you. Discernment guides you. Discernment keeps you from carrying the wrong voices into the next chapter of your life. You have already begun to feel this clarity forming inside you. The subtle awareness that certain conversations no longer feel genuine. The quiet recognition that some environments no longer match your spirit. The growing sense that something in your life is shifting. That awareness is not confusion. That awareness is guidance. I am showing you what you could not see before. I am revealing the difference between connection and convenience, between loyalty and familiarity, between alignment and attachment. Because chosen one, where you are going next cannot be built on attachment. It must be built on alignment. Alignment with your purpose, alignment with your peace, alignment with the calling unfolding in your life. And I know part of you still wonders what exactly was decided in that room. You wonder if they tried to define your place. You wonder if they tried to limit your influence. You wonder if they tried to shape your future without you present. But hear this truth and hold it firmly. No conversation held in your absence can cancel what I have spoken over your life. No opinion formed in that room can rewrite your destiny. No decision made without you can close the doors I am preparing to open. Because I am the one guiding your path. I am the one directing your steps. I am the one preparing the next season of your life. And that preparation is already unfolding, quietly, carefully, perfectly. You are chosen, you are protected, and I am preparing you. If you understand this, comment Amen. Let that word be your agreement with the truth unfolding around your life. Because what happened in that room was not the end of something. It was the beginning of clarity, the beginning of separation, the beginning of a path that will soon lead you into environments where your presence is not questioned, but welcomed, not resisted, but celebrated, not misunderstood, but recognized for the purpose it carries. Stay with me, chosen one, because the deeper truth about what happened in that room is still unfolding, and the next revelation will show you why the shift you feel around certain people is only the beginning of a much larger transformation I am preparing for your life. Chosen one, listen again. The shift you felt did not begin the moment your name was spoken in that room. The shift began before that. Quietly, slowly, deep within your spirit. You felt it before you understood it. You sensed it before anyone said a word. There were moments recently when something felt different. Conversations that once felt natural suddenly felt heavy. Smiles that once felt warm suddenly felt distant. Invitations that once came easily suddenly became rare. You noticed it. You questioned it. You wondered if you were imagining things. But hear me clearly now. You were not imagining anything. You were discerning. I placed discernment inside you for moments like this. Because, chosen one, when the atmosphere around your life begins to change, your spirit senses it before your mind can explain it. That subtle heaviness you felt was not confusion. It was awareness. Awareness rising inside you. Awareness opening your eyes to things that were once hidden. There were conversations where the tone felt slightly off. There were interactions where the energy shifted the moment you entered the room. There were moments where someone's words sounded supportive, yet something in their spirit felt distant. You felt it. You noticed it. You carried that question quietly inside you. Why does something feel different? Why does something feel heavy? Why does something feel unsettled? Now you know why. Because behind the scenes, something was moving. Behind the scenes, conversations were unfolding. Behind the scenes, hearts were revealing themselves in ways they never revealed directly to you. And when those unseen movements began, your spirit responded. Not fear, but discernment. Not anxiety, but awareness. Not confusion, but awakening. Because I have been opening your eyes. I have been sharpening your perception. I have been strengthening your ability to recognize what is real and what is not. This is part of your preparation. This is part of your transformation. This is part of your calling. You are chosen. And when someone is chosen, their awareness must grow. Their clarity must deepen. Their discernment must become strong enough to guide them through environments where not every voice speaks truth. This is why you began feeling that subtle distance around certain people. You began noticing pauses in conversations. You began recognizing tension in moments that once felt comfortable. You began sensing that something beneath the surface was changing. And that awareness was not meant to disturb you. It was meant to guide you. Because discernment is a gift. Discernment protects you.
Discernment keeps you from walking blindly into environments that cannot support your next season. And yes, I know there were moments when you doubted your own perception. You told yourself you were overthinking. You told yourself you were being too sensitive. You told yourself maybe nothing had changed at all. But listen carefully to this truth. Sensitivity is not weakness when it is guided by wisdom. Awareness is not overthinking when it is rooted in discernment. The quiet voice inside you was not fear. It was guidance. I was showing you that the atmosphere around you was shifting. Because chosen one, when a transformation begins inside you, the environment around you begins to respond. Some people feel inspired by your growth. Some people feel encouraged by your strength. But others feel uncomfortable when the version of you they once understood begins to disappear. That discomfort does not always appear as open opposition. Sometimes it appears as quiet distance. Sometimes it appears as subtle resistance. Sometimes it appears as conversations happening without you. And that is exactly why the room you were not in became so important. Because that conversation confirmed what your spirit had already sensed. The shift was real. The tension was real. The separation forming around you was real. But hear this clearly, chosen one. That separation is not punishment. It is protection. Not rejection, but refinement. Not isolation, but preparation. I am preparing you. I am preparing your path. I am preparing the environment that will support the next chapter of your life. Because where you are going next requires clarity. It requires strength. It requires the ability to walk forward even when not everyone understands your direction. And I know the human heart often wants reassurance from familiar voices. It wants confirmation from people it once trusted. But sometimes the greatest confirmation comes from within. From the peace that rises when you begin walking in alignment with your purpose. That peace has already begun forming inside you, even in the middle of uncertainty, even in the middle of shifting relationships, even in the middle of conversations you were never invited to. You have begun feeling something stronger than fear. Clarity. Quiet clarity. A growing understanding that something new is unfolding around your life. That clarity is not accidental. I placed it there. I am guiding you through this transition. I am strengthening your heart so you will not depend on the approval of every voice around you, because the path I am preparing for you will require courage. it will require trust. It will require the ability to walk forward even when certain doors close behind you. But remember this truth. Closed doors are not failure. Closed doors are direction. Closed doors are alignment. Closed doors are protection. I close certain doors so the wrong environments cannot slow your movement. I close certain doors so the wrong voices cannot confuse your focus. I close certain doors so that when the right door opens, you will recognize it immediately. That is why the shift you felt matters so much, because that shift was the beginning of clarity, the beginning of separation, the beginning of a path that will lead you into spaces where your presence is not questioned but welcomed, not resisted but valued, not misunderstood but recognized. You are chosen, and because you are chosen, your awareness must grow. Your vision must expand. Your spirit must become strong enough to walk through seasons of change without losing your peace. I am strengthening you. I am guiding you. I am preparing you. If this truth speaks to your spirit right now, comment Amen. Let that word be your agreement with the preparation unfolding around your life. Because the shift you felt was not the end of something. It was the beginning of clarity.
And very soon, Chosen One, you will see exactly why the conversation that happened in that room was only the first step in a much larger movement I am unfolding around your destiny. Chosen One, listen carefully. What I am about to reveal explains something you have been sensing but could not fully name. The discomfort some people feel around you is not random. It is not imagined. It is not something you created by accident. It is the reaction that appears when purpose begins to rise in someone's life. And your purpose has been rising. Quietly, steadily, powerfully. You have been changing in ways even you do not fully understand yet. Your thoughts have shifted. Your priorities have shifted. Your tolerance for certain behaviors has shifted. Things you once ignored now stand out clearly. Situations you once endured now feel impossible to accept. Conversations that once satisfied you now feel empty. This is transformation. This is awakening. This is preparation. I am preparing you. You are chosen. And when someone begins stepping into the clarity of their calling, their presence begins to disturb environments built on comfort and control. Not loudly, not violently, but deeply. Because your growth creates a mirror. And when people look into that mirror, they begin to see things about themselves they were avoiding. Some see inspiration. Some see possibility. But others see something that unsettles them. They see their own hesitation. They see their own fears. They see the places where they stopped growing while you continued moving forward. That is why your presence sometimes creates tension you never intended to create. It is not hostility. It is reflection. Reflection revealing truths people were not ready to face. And when those feelings rise inside someone, they do not always recognize the real source. They simply feel uncomfortable. They feel uncertain. They feel resistant to the change happening in front of them. That is why conversations begin forming around you. Quiet conversations. Careful conversations. Conversations where your name becomes the center of curiosity. Because when people do not understand a transformation, they begin trying to explain it. Some try to analyze it. Some try to question it. Some try to reduce it to something smaller than what it truly is. That is what happened in that room where your name was spoken. They were not only discussing you, they were trying to understand the change they feel when they see you now. One voice may have said you seem different. Another voice may have said you are becoming distant. Another voice may have wondered if you are changing too quickly, but listen closely, chosen one. Their confusion is not a sign you are doing something wrong. Their confusion is confirmation that something real is happening inside you. Because growth often looks unfamiliar to people who expected you to remain the same. Your clarity disrupts their expectations. Your peace disrupts their patterns. Your independence disrupts their influence. And that disruption creates questions. But those questions do not define your path. They reveal the boundaries of their understanding. You are chosen. And because you are chosen, your journey will not always make sense to everyone around you. Some will recognize the transformation immediately. Some will celebrate it. Some will quietly support you from the background. But others will struggle to understand what is happening. Not because they wish you harm, but because your movement forward forces them to confront their own hesitation to move. That is why their reaction sometimes appears as distance. That is why their reaction sometimes appears as skepticism. That is why their reaction sometimes appears as conversations about you, happening without you. But remember this truth. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is obedience. Your responsibility is growth. Your responsibility is continuing the transformation I have begun in your life. Because I am preparing you. I am preparing your mind. I am preparing your spirit. I am preparing your future. The strength forming inside you now will support the opportunities that are coming. The clarity forming inside you now will guide you through environments where your decisions will matter greatly. The discernment forming inside you now will protect you from influences that could distract you from your calling. This is why your journey has included moments of solitude, moments where certain voices faded, moments where familiar connections felt distant. Those moments were not abandonment. They were preparation. I was teaching you how to stand in your own clarity. I was teaching you how to trust the peace I place inside you more than the approval of every voice around you. Because the season ahead of you requires that strength. It requires confidence that comes from alignment, not validation. It requires peace that remains steady even when the atmosphere around you changes. That is why the tension some people feel around you is not something you must fix. It is something you must understand. Your presence reveals movement. Your presence reveals change. Your presence reveals that the old patterns surrounding your life are beginning to dissolve. And when old patterns dissolve, reactions appear. But those reactions do not stop the transformation. They confirm it. Not punishment, but confirmation. Not rejection, but elevation. Not loss, but expansion. You are chosen, and I am preparing you. If this truth resonates inside you, comment Amen. Let that word be your acknowledgement that you understand the process unfolding around your life. Because the discomfort others feel when they encounter your growth is not the end of the story. It is only the signal that the next chapter of your life is drawing closer. And very soon, chosen one, you will begin to see why every conversation, every reaction, and every moment of distance has been guiding you toward a future far greater than the room where your name was spoken. Chosen one, listen carefully. There was a moment in that room when the conversation turned from curiosity to decision. A quiet moment, a subtle moment, but a moment that carried weight. Because after the questions were spoken, after the opinions were shared, something happened. They began deciding what to do about you. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, carefully, slowly. This is the part you did not see. This is the part I am revealing to you now. Some suggested distance. Some suggested caution.
Some suggested redefining the role you once held in their circle. Their words were measured, their tone was careful, but the intention was clear. They believed they were protecting their comfort. They believed they were maintaining control. They believed they were shaping the future of their environment. But listen closely, chosen one. What they thought was control was actually limitation. Their decision did not shape your destiny. Their decision revealed the boundary of their vision. Because when people cannot understand your transformation, they often attempt to contain it. They try to keep you inside the role they once recognized. They try to keep you inside the expectations they once placed on you. They try to keep you inside the version of you that felt familiar. But that version of you is fading. I have been reshaping you. I have been refining you. I have been strengthening you. You are chosen, and chosen ones cannot remain inside environments that require them to stay small. That is why their quiet decision was not the end of something important. It was the beginning of a separation that needed to happen. Not punishment, but redirection. Not rejection, but release. Not exclusion, but elevation. They believed they were creating distance, but in reality, I was creating space. Space for new opportunities, space for new alliances, space for environments where your presence will be understood rather than questioned. Because where you are going next cannot be limited by the expectations of those who only knew your past. The future I am preparing for you requires room to grow, room to move, room to expand. That room cannot exist if every voice from your past continues speaking into your direction. This is why I allowed their decision to unfold exactly as it did. I did not interrupt the conversation. I did not silence their doubts. I allowed them to reveal their comfort zone. I allowed them to reveal the limits of their understanding. Because when those limits become visible, you are no longer confused about where you stand. Clarity begins to replace uncertainty. Discernment begins to guide your movement. And slowly, you begin recognizing which environments align with your purpose and which environments resist it. That recognition is powerful. Because clarity removes hesitation. Clarity removes emotional attachment to places that cannot support your future. Clarity allows you to walk forward without resentment, without bitterness, without fear. Just understanding. Understanding that some people were never meant to walk beside you forever. Some people were assigned to your past, not your destiny. Some people were part of your preparation, not your arrival. That is why their decision in that room matters less than you might think. They believed they were deciding something about your future, but in truth, they were revealing something about their own limitations. Their decision was shaped by comfort. Your destiny is shaped by purpose. Comfort seeks stability. Purpose demands growth. Comfort avoids change. Purpose creates transformation. That difference is why your path and their expectations could no longer remain the same. You are chosen, and chosen ones are often misunderstood by environments that depend on predictability. Because transformation is unpredictable. Growth is unpredictable. Calling is unpredictable. And when people encounter something unpredictable, their instinct is often to control it or distance themselves from it. That instinct shaped their conversation. That instinct shaped their decision. But it cannot shape your destiny. Because I am the one guiding your path. I am the one preparing the doors ahead of you. I am the one arranging the people who will recognize the calling on your life without fear. And those people are already beginning to appear, quietly, gradually, unexpectedly. While one circle grows distant,
another circle is forming. While one environment closes, another environment prepares to open. While one voice grows silent, another voice begins speaking encouragement into your life. This is alignment. This is movement. This is preparation unfolding in ways you may not fully see yet, but you will see it soon. You will recognize the shift. You will recognize the difference between spaces that tolerated you and spaces that truly welcome you. Because there is a difference, a powerful difference. One environment merely accepts your presence. Another environment celebrates your purpose. One environment questions your growth. Another environment supports your transformation. One environment tries to define your role. Another environment recognizes your calling. I am leading you toward the second environment. I am guiding you toward spaces where your growth will not create suspicion, but inspiration. Where your clarity will not create tension, but respect. Where your purpose will not be questioned, but recognized. That is why I allowed their decision to happen. Because sometimes, separation must happen quietly before elevation can happen visibly. Sometimes distance must appear before direction becomes clear. Sometimes the closing of one circle must occur before the opening of another. You are chosen. I am preparing you. And the quiet decision made in that room did not block your path. It cleared it. If you understand this truth, comment Amen. Let that word be your agreement with the preparation unfolding around your life. Because chosen one, the conversation that happened behind closed doors was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of a transition. A transition that will soon lead you into spaces where your name will not be questioned in secret rooms, but spoken with respect in open places. And that moment is closer than you think. Chosen one, stay with me. What happened in that room did not end when the conversation ended. Words do not disappear when they are spoken. They travel, they echo, they leave traces in the atmosphere. And the decisions made in that room began creating ripple effects you have already started to notice. Subtle at first, quiet at first, but real, very real. You noticed certain messages arriving slower than before. You noticed certain conversations becoming shorter than before. You noticed certain people speaking to you with a tone that felt slightly different. Not openly hostile, not openly supportive, just different. A pause in their voice, a hesitation in their words, a distance you could not quite explain. That was the echo of that room reaching you. Because when people talk about someone behind closed doors, their behavior afterward carries the weight of those words, even when they try to hide it. Even when they try to act the same, the atmosphere remembers, the energy shifts, and your spirit notices. That is why you began sensing something changing. Not fear, but awareness. Not suspicion, but discernment. I allowed you to feel that shift because that feeling was not meant to confuse you. It was meant to awaken you. Awakening to the truth of your environment. Awakening to the difference between genuine support and silent resistance. Awakening to the reality that not every voice around you is aligned with the direction your life is moving. This awakening is important, very important, because chosen one, clarity is one of the greatest protections I can give you. Clarity protects your peace. Clarity protects your focus. Clarity protects your purpose. Without clarity, you might continue investing your energy in environments that cannot support the next chapter of your life. Without clarity, you might continue seeking approval from voices that cannot understand the transformation happening inside you. But now, something inside you is changing.
Your awareness is sharper. Your instincts are stronger. Your discernment is clearer. You begin recognizing the difference between words that are polite and hearts that are supportive, between conversations that are friendly and intentions that are loyal, between smiles that are courteous and spirits that are aligned. This is the gift of discernment growing inside you. I am strengthening it. I am refining it. I am preparing you. You are chosen, and chosen ones must learn how to see clearly even when everything appears calm on the surface. Because sometimes, the most important truths are hidden beneath quiet behavior, beneath subtle changes, beneath the small details others overlook. But you are beginning to see those details. You are beginning to feel those shifts. And that awareness is not meant to make you suspicious of everyone around you. It is meant to make you wise. Wisdom does not accuse. Wisdom observes. Wisdom recognizes patterns. Wisdom understands when a season of connection is coming to its natural end. That is what you are witnessing now. Not conflict, but conclusion. Not confrontation, but completion. Some relationships are quietly reaching the end of the role they were meant to play in your journey. And that ending is not failure. It is fulfillment. They served their purpose.
They were part of your growth. They were part of your preparation. But they are not part of your destination. That truth can feel uncomfortable at first. The human heart naturally holds on to familiarity. Familiar voices, familiar environments, familiar patterns. But growth requires movement. Growth requires release. Growth requires courage to walk forward even when the path becomes unfamiliar. That is the courage I am building inside you. Because the ripple effects of that conversation are only the beginning. Soon you will begin noticing something else. New connections appearing, new conversations forming, new opportunities opening quietly in front of you. While one circle becomes distant, another circle begins forming. While one door slowly closes, another door begins unlocking. While one environment grows quiet, another environment prepares to welcome you. This is alignment. This is movement. This is preparation unfolding exactly as it should. I am preparing you. I am positioning you. I am guiding you towards spaces where your presence will not create confusion, but clarity. Not tension, but inspiration. Not hesitation, but respect. Because chosen one, there are environments waiting for you where your voice will carry weight, where your ideas will be welcomed, where your growth will be celebrated instead of questioned. Those environments cannot appear while you remain attached to places that cannot understand your transformation. That is why the ripple effects of that room matter. They are gently guiding you away from what no longer aligns with your path, and they are guiding you toward what does. This transition may feel subtle now, quiet now, but it is real, and soon it will become undeniable. You will begin recognizing the difference between environments that drained you and environments that strengthen you, between conversations that confused you and conversations that bring clarity, between circles that tolerated you and circles that truly recognize you. That recognition will bring peace, deep peace. Because when you stand in the right environment, you no longer feel the need to explain who you are becoming. You no longer feel the pressure to shrink your voice or soften your purpose. You simply stand. You simply grow. You simply walk forward in alignment with the calling unfolding in your life. That is the future I am preparing for you. You are chosen. I am preparing you. If you can feel this truth stirring inside you, comment Amen. Let that word be your agreement with the movement unfolding around your life. Because the ripple that began in that hidden room is not spreading to harm you. It is spreading to reposition you, to guide you, to move you toward the next chapter of your journey. And chosen one, that chapter will reveal why every whisper, every shift, and every quiet change around you was leading you exactly where you are meant to be. Chosen one, listen closely again. What happened in that room did more than create distance. It began a process of exposure. Quiet exposure. Careful exposure. But real exposure. Because when conversations about you happen in secret, those conversations cannot remain hidden forever. Words reveal themselves through behavior. Intentions reveal themselves through patterns. Motives reveal themselves through time. And time is already beginning to reveal what was spoken behind those closed doors. You have started to notice it. The small inconsistencies, the subtle changes, the strange feeling that someone's words and someone's spirit are no longer aligned. That awareness is not suspicion. It is discernment. I am sharpening your discernment. I am strengthening your awareness. I am preparing you. You are chosen. And chosen ones must learn how to recognize truth, even when it hides behind polite language. Because not every voice that sounds friendly carries genuine support. Not every conversation that feels calm carries sincere intention.
Sometimes the true message appears in the pattern, not the sentence. In the silence, not the statement. In the distance, not the words. That is why exposure is happening slowly, not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, carefully, perfectly timed. Because when exposure happens slowly, you are able to see clearly without becoming bitter. You are able to recognize the truth without becoming angry. You are able to release people without carrying resentment. That is wisdom. Wisdom protects your peace. Wisdom protects your focus. Wisdom protects the path I am preparing for you. And I know there were moments recently when you sensed that something in someone's attitude had shifted. You could not point to one exact moment. You could not identify one exact sentence, but something felt different. A tone, a hesitation, a quiet distance that had never been there before. That feeling was not confusion. That feeling was confirmation. Confirmation that the conversation that happened in that room left an imprint on the environment around you. And those imprints are beginning to show themselves through behavior. But listen carefully to what I am telling you now. Exposure is not punishment. Exposure is protection. Not humiliation, but revelation. Not destruction, but direction. Because when someone's hidden intentions become visible, you gain clarity about where to place your trust. You gain clarity about which voices deserve access to your journey. You gain clarity about which relationships belong in your next season and which belong in your past. That clarity is powerful. Because without clarity, you might continue investing your energy where it cannot grow. You might continue giving your loyalty to environments that cannot support your purpose. But now, the truth is rising gently to the surface. And as it rises, something inside you becomes stronger. Your confidence grows. Your discernment sharpens. Your peace becomes more important than the approval of people who never truly understood your path. This is part of your preparation. I am preparing your heart. I am preparing your mind. I am preparing your future. You are chosen. And because you are chosen, your circle must be refined. Not everyone can carry the weight of your next season. Not every voice can speak into the direction of your future. Not every relationship can survive the transformation happening inside you. That is not failure. That is refinement. Refinement removes what is weak, so what is strong can remain. Refinement separates what is temporary from what is lasting. Refinement clears space for the alliances that will truly support your journey. That is what is happening now. The exposure unfolding around you is clearing the path ahead of you, clearing distractions, clearing confusion, clearing voices that would slow your movement forward. And as this clearing continues, you will notice something beautiful beginning to appear. Authentic connections, honest conversations, people who recognize your growth without feeling threatened by it, people who see your transformation and celebrate it instead of questioning it. These people exist, and they are closer than you realize. Because while one group was discussing your name behind closed doors, another group is beginning to notice the strength rising in your life. While one circle was questioning your direction, another circle is preparing to welcome it. That is alignment unfolding, quietly, gradually, powerfully. I'm leading you toward environments where your presence will feel natural, not controversial, where your voice will feel valued, not debated, where your purpose will be recognized, not misunderstood. But before you arrive there, the exposure must continue. The truth must become visible. The hidden tensions must surface. Because clarity always comes before elevation. First, revelation, then separation, then elevation. This is the pattern. This is the process. This is the preparation. You are chosen. I am preparing you. If this truth speaks to your spirit, comment Amen. Let that word be your agreement with the refinement unfolding around your life. Because, chosen one, what is being exposed now is not meant to harm you. It is meant to free you. Free you from confusion. Free you from misplaced loyalty. Free you from environments that could not support the purpose unfolding in your life. And as that freedom grows, you will begin stepping into a new level of clarity, confidence, and peace. A level where your direction becomes undeniable. A level where your path becomes unmistakable. A level where the right people recognize you immediately. That level is approaching. And everything that was whispered about you in that hidden room is only accelerating the arrival of the future I am preparing for you. Chosen one, listen carefully now. Because what is unfolding around you is deeper than a conversation, deeper than a room, deeper than the opinions of a few voices gathered behind closed doors. What is unfolding is refinement, real refinement, necessary refinement, divine refinement. I am refining your circle. I am refining your atmosphere. I am refining the voices that are allowed to walk beside you into the next season of your life. You have already begun to notice it. The gradual fading of certain connections. The quiet distance forming where closeness once existed. The strange feeling that some relationships no longer move with the same rhythm they once had. That feeling is not confusion. It is transition. Not punishment, but preparation. Not abandonment, but alignment. Because, chosen one, every season of growth requires a season of separation. When a tree grows taller, the branches that cannot carry the new weight begin to fall away. When a path rises higher, the travelers who prefer the valley stop walking beside it. When a calling becomes clearer, the voices that once guided you begin to grow silent. This is natural. This is necessary. This is refinement. And refinement is never comfortable in the beginning. The human heart often wants to hold on to familiarity. Familiar voices, familiar patterns, familiar environments. But familiarity is not the same as alignment. Familiarity remembers who you were. Alignment recognizes who you are becoming. That difference is why some people feel uncomfortable when they see the transformation happening in your life. They remember the older version of you, the version that tolerated certain patterns, the version that doubted certain possibilities, the version that remained quiet in moments where you now speak with clarity. But that version is disappearing.
I have been reshaping you, quietly, steadily, powerfully. You are chosen. And chosen ones cannot remain surrounded by voices that only recognize their past. That is why refinement is happening now. Slowly, carefully, perfectly timed. Some people are stepping back without explanation. Some connections are weakening without conflict. Some environments are becoming quieter without confrontation. That silence is not emptiness. It is space being created. Space for the people who belong in your next season. Space for the voices that will strengthen your purpose. Space for the alliances that will understand your calling without needing constant explanation. Because where you are going next requires a different circle. A circle built on alignment. Alignment of purpose. Alignment of vision. Alignment of peace. Not everyone can carry that alignment. Some relationships were formed in seasons where you were still discovering who you were. Some connections were built when your path was still unclear. But now your direction is changing. Your awareness is expanding. Your clarity is deepening. And when clarity grows, circles change. Not rejection, but repositioning. Not loss, but elevation. Not isolation, but preparation. I am preparing you, and preparation requires space. Space where your voice can grow stronger. Space where your vision can expand. Space where your purpose can move forward without resistance. That space is forming now. You may not see every detail yet, but you feel the shift. The quiet awareness that certain voices are fading while new possibilities begin appearing. That awareness is guidance. I am guiding you through this transition, step by step, because I know the human heart sometimes struggles with separation, even when the separation is necessary, even when the separation protects your future. But remember this truth. Every person who steps out of your circle creates room for someone who belongs in it. Every connection that fades clears space for a connection that aligns with your destiny. Every door that closes prepares the opening of a door that will lead you further than you imagined. That is how refinement works. It removes what cannot grow with you, so what can grow beside you can finally appear. And those new alliances are already moving toward your life. Quietly, gradually, perfectly timed. People who recognize the strength inside you. People who recognize the clarity inside you. People who recognize the purpose unfolding around your life. They may not know your entire story yet, but they will recognize the direction of your journey. And when those connections appear, something inside you will feel different. Peace. Real peace. The kind of peace that comes when you no longer feel the need to prove yourself. The kind of peace that comes when your presence is understood without constant explanation. That peace is part of the future I am preparing for you. You are chosen. I am preparing you. If you can feel this truth rising inside you, comment Amen. Let that word be your agreement with the refinement unfolding around your life. Because chosen one, the fading voices you are noticing now are not signs of loss. They are signs of preparation. Preparation for the circle that will walk beside you into the next chapter of your life. Preparation for the environment where your purpose will grow without resistance. Preparation for the moment when your name will no longer be questioned in hidden rooms, but spoken with respect in open places. And that moment is closer than you think. The refinement is almost complete. The separation is almost finished. The new circle is almost ready to appear. Stay steady. Stay aware. Stay faithful to the transformation happening inside you. Because the path ahead is opening. And every voice that faded behind you is making room for the voices that will help carry you into the future I have been preparing for you.
all along. Chosen one, listen with patience now, because the season you are walking through may feel uncertain, quietly uncertain, gently unstable. One day things feel clear. The next day things feel unfamiliar. Some paths look open, yet you are not sure if you should walk them yet. Some relationships remain, yet they no longer feel the same. This is the space between seasons, the space where the old chapter closes, but the new chapter has not fully revealed itself yet. Many people fear this space. Many people rush through this space. Many people try to force clarity before the moment of clarity arrives. But I am asking you to stand still for a moment. Not fear, but trust. Not rushing, but listening. Not anxiety, but awareness. Because this space you are standing in is not confusion. It is transition. Real transition. Sacred transition. Necessary transition. I am repositioning you. I am strengthening you. I am preparing you. You are chosen, and chosen ones often walk through seasons where the path ahead looks quiet before it becomes visible. The silence you feel right now is not emptiness. It is preparation. Preparation happening beneath the surface. Preparation happening beyond your sight. Preparation happening in places and conversations you have not yet seen.
Just as your name was spoken in that room without your knowledge, doors are now being prepared for you without your awareness. Opportunities are forming quietly. Alliances are forming quietly. Environments are shifting quietly to make room for the next chapter of your life. But preparation requires patience, because if everything appeared instantly, you would not see the process that makes the future strong enough to hold you. Strength grows in hidden places. Clarity grows in quiet moments. Confidence grows in seasons where you learn to trust the guidance inside you more than the noise around you. That is what this transition is teaching you. To trust your peace, to trust your discernment, to trust the direction I am placing before you step by step. Because the next chapter of your life will require that trust. There will be moments where the path ahead does not look familiar. There will be opportunities that appear different from what you expected. There will be environments that challenge you to grow beyond what you believed possible. But you will be ready, because this season is preparing you for those moments. Every shift you have felt, every conversation that changed, every relationship that quietly faded, every moment where you felt uncertain but kept walking forward anyway, all of it has been strengthening you, strengthening your spirit, strengthening your focus, strengthening your ability to move forward even when the full picture is not yet visible. That strength matters, because the future I am preparing for you is not small. It is not temporary. It is not something that will fade quickly. It is something that will require stability, clarity, courage. And those qualities are forming inside you now, quietly, gradually, perfectly. You are chosen, and chosen ones are not prepared in comfort alone. They are prepared through transition, through growth, through moments where they must trust the unseen movement around them. That is why this season feels different. You are standing between what was and what will be, between the circle that once surrounded you and the circle that is now forming, between the doors that closed quietly and the doors that will soon open clearly. That space between seasons is sacred, because in that space, the foundation of your next chapter is being built. Your mind is learning to trust clarity instead of approval. Your heart is learning to release attachment instead of holding on to familiarity. Your spirit is learning to walk forward, even when the road looks unfamiliar. These lessons will guide you in the future that is approaching, and that future is closer than you realize. Because while you have been walking through this transition, something else has been happening quietly around you. The right people have been noticing you. The right environments have been opening space for you. The right opportunities have been preparing themselves for your arrival. You may not see them yet, but they are forming. Just as the conversation about you happened without your knowledge, the preparation for your future is happening without your full awareness. But soon, you will see it. Soon, you will recognize the pattern. Soon, you will understand why this transition was necessary. Because when the new door opens, you will walk through it with clarity instead of confusion, with confidence instead of hesitation, with peace instead of fear. That is why this season matters. Not punishment, but preparation. Not uncertainty, but repositioning. Not delay, but alignment. I am aligning your life with the path that was meant for you from the beginning. You are chosen. I am preparing you. If you feel this truth settling in your spirit right now, comment Amen. Let that word be your acknowledgement that you trust the transition unfolding around your life. Because, chosen one, the space you are standing in today is not the end of your story. It is the quiet doorway into the next chapter. And very soon, you will see exactly why every shift, every conversation, every closed door, and every moment of uncertainty was guiding you toward the future I have been preparing for you all along.